got on the air. That's well
It's
known.
on there.
I pooped this morning.
Haven't we all?
I don't know, some people don't.
Not every morning.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sports program. Saturday, June 20th or July 25th, the year of our Lord and Savior Christ Jesus. Just kidding. Kidding. Joking. Hey, everybody. We're still alive. We're doing a show. I don't think we were here last week. We are back, though. Now. Back. Shady's back. Back again.
Back in
Stupid.
town.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Boy, I missed you guys. I did. I missed you guys like the sun misses the sky.
Does the sun ever miss the sky?
I don't know that.
Well, when it's dark,
I
When
think
it's
I'm on
dark.
the other side of the planet.
I think the sky might miss.
when it's
The
dark outside, sometimes the sun misses it.
So on that topic, hold on. People think the Earth's flat.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the sun go? So like the Earth's flat, right? So the sun just goes under here
It just goes underneath.
when it's
Is
nighttime.
Dwight Howard a flat earther too, or just an anti-vaxxer?
I
what I
think
was
Is
trying
he
to
an
figure out.
anti-vaxxer?
Oh, he is.
He's
He had
just-
a bunch of shit this week about anti-vaccinations and stuff. Or
okay. Well, we'll
I
get to
did
that.
not know that about him.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that.
We'll get to that though.
That's
we'll get there.
We'll start with hockey and then
We'll
we'll get to Dwight Howard.
Okay. Well, first, I wanted to ask you boys, what do you think about the Krakens? That's a name. That's a name that they picked. For
It's not
the
the
Seattle-
Krakens. It's just Kraken.
Is
Singular.
it just Kraken?
So
Singular. They're
That
a, they're a rarity because they're not a plural. They asked the guy who owns the team, I believe, what he thought about it. They're like, "What do you think about this obscure name?" He's like, "Oh, it's obscure because we're not plural, right? That's why you think it's weird." It's like, I think they were alluding, no, it's weird because you're the fucking Kraken. And he was like, "Oh yeah, it's not plural, so yeah, I guess that is kind of weird." I was like, "Well, way to dodge the
Well,
question."
Seattle Kraken. I mean, that's fine.
The Kraken. They get to release the Kraken before every game, and that's a gimmick, and that's
Are
a
they
thing.
going to do it? I was actually wondering, are they going to use that soundbite, release the Kraken? They got to, right?
I
You
don't
know
see why-
they will.
Well,
God, they're going to
and
have
are they
to.
going to have like a cool Kraken thing they skate out of, like the
I have an idea what
the
they
Sharks and the you know the LA Kings have their whole the Golden Knights have their whole little pre-show.
I think they make a giant, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man with tons of arms.
I think so too,
And that's what they use.
but I bet it's going to look not like what you just described.
It's not going to look cool at all.
I think it's going to look
If
bad.
it did look like what you just described, it would be pretty cool.
I
It
mean,
would be pretty cool.
it would look like
Right.
It would, yeah.
I think it would look like a C League, an F League would
Yeah.
have that.
Okay, so here's the cool thing about it. We've talked about it before too. I don't necessarily care what they call the team because it's not going to be my team. I am genuinely really excited though, just like I was when Vegas added the Golden Knights. I am always excited that somebody is going to start watching hockey. Somebody's
Yep.
going to. Somebody, especially in the Pacific Northwest, is probably going to be like, "Oh, cool, hockey! I'm going to start giving it a shot now.
Well-
Cool, why not? I'll start watching it because that's
And I
what's
know
going
a few
on."
people that way, yeah.
See, yeah, and that's what's happened with. I know a lot of people who, it's still not me, not yet. I know a lot of people though who never cared about soccer, but they go to Sounders games. Like they go, like a lot of people have started. I think soccer's still growing, and a
That's
lot of people
massively, yeah.
yeah, and people are like really getting into it. It's still not me yet, but I have a few friends that aren't even into it, but they still go to
cool.
Sounders games when they're in like Seattle.
I
So
bet it would be fun live, but I hate watching it on TV.
yeah,
I
bet it'd be
don't
fun
mind it
live.
like if it's on and I'm like hanging out with friends
Sure.
and something cool finally happens like 50
I
minutes.
bet you it's a lot more fun live.
I bet yeah.
I think hockey's great on TV and live.
I'd agree.
I
Yeah,
love
because
hockey.
the commentators live on TV really fill in that space because it's a very fast-paced game, and if you watched it without commentary on TV, like watched it on mute, I don't know if you'd really enjoy it because you're just seeing people move really fast back and forth and slams and stuff. But when you can hear that, and then I don't know how their commentators keep up the energy for that long. They move and talk as fast and as excited as like what's going on the ice, and it totally like, especially like NBC just nails it.
I know.
So it's awesome.
So that's where I'm at with the Seattle team. That I think the name's fine. I don't care. I mean, again, it's not. They're not going to be a team. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's for. But new fans. Oh man, that's so exciting. And Zach, you had a few friends that, or at least one in particular, who started watching hockey just because of the Golden Knights, right? Like that was.
I have a lot of friends who did, because they lived in Nevada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I have friends here that are, because I'm into hockey, so they've said, well, I just don't know how to go about picking a team, kind of where you were with basketball, 100 years ago, because you've always been a Portland fan.
Yeah, lifelong.
But when you had to make that decision when you were a baby and had to make that choice, and you're like, I don't know what to like.
When I was a baby in August 2018.
Yeah, but a couple things. One, I do like the uniforms. I do like the logo.
I like the logo too.
I didn't see the uniforms.
They just ESPN it. Google it.
Okay.
They did stay away from. They did stay away from that stupid highlighter green that the Seahawks kind of pepper into theirs.
Thank God, dude. Thank God.
And that was the only thing I really cared about. It was like your aquamarine stuff's great.
You know what? If I wasn't a Kings fan and I was looking to get in a team,
I'd be interested, because there's a lot of good reserve hockey players out there. Like that's why the Golden Knights were able to turn it around and be competitive year one, because there's just so much talent that's not being used. Like almost every team now, well, some teams have no good goalkeepers, but then the teams that have, like the Penguins, for example, they always have two. Always have two, like top 10 quality goalkeepers on the same team. They're gonna I think it's wishful thinking to think we're gonna get two startup teams in like a 5-year time period that both are competitive. Like they could be the bottom of the league for the next decade, like the Texans were in football.
If they come in and they make it to the playoffs, I'll end it, dude. I
think after a couple of years they'll be able to recruit in free agency. I think Seattle's probably not a bad spot for a lot of hockey players as where they would want to go.
Yeah.
These Kraken jerseys feel a little more reminiscent of the Mariners colors.
And they're very similar, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's very Seattle, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of jersey changes, for a very similar reason, they already, like day one, as soon as they announced the name change, they already released the new Washington football team, whatever. They released their new uniforms already, and they're just replacing. Everyone's like, "What are they going to put a giant W on the helmet?" Why not? The Cleveland Browns just have an orange helmet with nothing on it, which is even more confusing. They're just having the number on the helmet, which is genius.
I like it.
It's very Alabama. It's very Alabama.
Alabama.
I'm in the gayest state in America, Alabama.
I don't know what that's from, but I like it.
Sacha Baron Cohen during when he had the TV show, not the movie. He dresses as like, I think it was early stage Bruno.
Early Bruno. Yeah.
And it was the 100% gay interviewer with the faux hawk. That's who it was.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he goes to like this beach in Alabama and just super makes everyone really uncomfortable, as he tends to do. But that's how the whole bit takes place. It's spring break and he's like, I'm in the gayest state in America, Alabama.
That's the Ollie G show, right? That's like
Ollie G show,
yeah.
That's
Ollie
G show.
God, that was a great show.
Well,
So I personally, so first off, I love that they kept the colors. I think that's super smart. Like somebody was like, because there was a lot of people were saying like, use it as an opportunity to completely rebrand. Well, no, because all those fans are wearing those colors. So don't do that. Don't make them all buy new stuff.
That, and out of all the all the major sports leagues, they're the only one with that color combination. And how rare is that? Don't give that up. You know why you don't give that up? Because eventually there'll be a new
expansion team.
30 expansion team, and they're going to hawk that up because it's a great color combination.
It is,
so,
yeah.
Here's a question. Because, people are upset about the name change.
Yeah.
Some people aren't.
I like that LeBron bashed it.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So
he was like the first person. He's like, I woke up to the Washington football team. He's like, is this a joke? He's like, they spent all this time and this is all they could come up with. Well, yes, because it's a temporary name.
So I think it's funny. I think that is funny that he said that. And
him and everyone else. It wasn't original.
Well, that's my point is, not my point because I haven't made a point yet. I think it's stupid that they just can't come up with a name. It's not that hard.
They need a whole another year. They need a whole another year to think about it after.
Yeah.
They've been brainstorming this since people were complaining 20 years ago.
Yeah. Right. Literally just anything.
It's not like they had 3 days to think of something.
And that's why I say they did come up with a name. It's Washington Football Team.
It should be Washington Football Club.
I do too. Could you imagine? What if I'm right on this? And for 1 year they go as Washington Football Team, and then the next year they're like, "All right, you guys, through hard deliberations, and we played the market, and we had focus groups, and we finally figured out, and we landed on the name. It's gonna be Washington Football Club."
Yeah. And the grand unveil is they're standing in front of the sign, and they have like a thing that rips out. Right? And then they just go, and it just removes team, and underneath it's club, and that's like the big unveil.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it has that, and then that one dude from Jackass that like shoots the confetti, he just runs out.
Well, so there
I don't know if he's alive anymore.
He might not be.
I'm surprised I'm surprised when I hear that any of them are still alive.
Well, no, he's talking about that old dude who.
Yeah.
From like Brotherly Love and.
That's right.
All the other Nickelodeon and Disney Channel shows when we were growing up.
He might be dead. You're right. My bad.
So there are other teams though, that they have said that are under fire.
Great show.
So, but somebody, because I was talking to somebody at work, and they were saying like, well, what's the Cleveland Indians gonna do now? And I said, well, the Cleveland Indians aren't worried about this because they've been in like a 10-year plan anyways to phase their own name out. Like they've already been doing it. They got rid of Chief Oahu like 2 years ago, and now when you see Cleveland play, they just have the C.
And Cleveland across the chest.
And Cleveland.
Which they've been doing for a while now, and those uniforms are great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people refer to them anyways as just like Cleveland baseball. Like, I mean, a lot of people already don't say Indians anyways.
So if you do it slow,
yeah,
you avoid kind of the outrage, or the Braves were never changing it, Jesse. Get over yourself.
Well, hold on.
We got rid of the tomahawk chop. That's enough.
I don't think the Atlanta Braves is offensive.
Well, it depends with who came up with I was just talking about this yesterday. It depends. Like, was it at one point in time something like white people started nicknaming them and going, looks like a bunch of Braves? You know, it really depends how it came about.
Well, yeah.
And that's the thing. Context is everything.
Yeah.
I don't think Cleveland Indians, I don't think that's offensive either.
I know.
But that's a name that we gave to a group of people that didn't give it to themselves.
Yeah.
True. So if they're gonna go balls to the wall, still be the Indians, but refer to India.
Yeah, they should switch all their stuff for like really like it should just be like a bowl of curry on their uniform.
I just don't think realistically Cleveland's gonna see it anyways, because I think as soon as somebody for real tries pointing it out to Cleveland, like, hey, you need to change, I think the owners of the team and management are going to be like, hey, we've been doing it. Like, give us, like, don't worry about it. We're getting it taken care of. But we already don't have any of the stuff that we've had even like 5 years ago. Like, calm down. We're getting there. We're just phasing it out. And that's what they've been doing, is phasing. But the Redskins could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
They could have been
phasing. If you do it slow, then people don't freak out, right?
Yeah, nobody.
If you slowly phase it out. I think that the Braves have tried to slowly phase out some things, but like the tomahawk chop at games, I feel like for something that if you went to a Braves game every year for the last 20 years and now you take your kids and you're like, oh, this is when they do the tomahawk chop, and then they don't do it, you're just kind of like,
oh, this was fun.
They were like, oh, it's gone. And I feel like the traditionalists are going to be upset about that.
Well, what about Kansas City Chiefs? Don't they do a thing?
I don't know.
Don't they do like a
they do like the
Yeah.
They do like that. All the fans do it. I mean, they're gonna tell all the fans not
Well, yeah,
to
like
do
so-
that,
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
with the tomahawk chop for the Braves, it's easy because they just don't play the thing that cues it over the speaker. Like, it's,
and the Chiefs do play it still.
yeah,
They do
But
play
do you
the
think
thing.
the Kansas City Chiefs is offensive?
No, but I'm
I
also
don't.
I'm also not a Native American.
But that's the
yeah.
thing.
I don't
Some
have a way to speak on any of these. Honestly,
I don't.
So my mom works for the reservation,
Mhm.
Nez Pierce, Lapway,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of people that didn't want the name to change. A lot of
Yeah.
people. My friend Will, who follows me on Facebook, and he's a diehard football fan. He's from Blackfoot, Native American. He doesn't think it should have changed.
See, so here's the thing about the Redskins compared to all of those other teams. I do feel like Redskins is more offensive than all of those other names because to me that's like having a team called like the Alabama Blackface. Like to me, it's like you're pointing out like if you had a team. If you had like the Little China, and they were like Little China Yellowmen, like that would not be good.
I agree. I mean, yeah.
So it is more offensive. Now on those other ones, I have a friend here, and this is rhetorical. This is only rhetoric. This is one person I know, and during the Cubs and Indians World Series, and this guy is a predominant. He's predominant in the Native American in Nez Perce tribe here, and he like works in Lewiston. I asked him like, hey, who you going for for the World Series? And he says, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the tribe. That's what he called the Cleveland Indians. And I was like, oh, okay, oh, like he called them the tribe.
Well, so do
And
people in
like,
Cleveland.
Okay, but I know that they do too. I was surprised to hear him call them that, and I guess I don't know. I mean, I was just like, oh, that's interesting to me that he did that.
Yeah,
as an older guy. So I don't know. I don't know if people find it as offensive. Also, with Cleveland, they've been phasing it out. So I mean, people are less pissy.
I think I don't agree that they'll all the way phase it out, though. I actually don't think they ever will. They don't need to.
No.
Because they've done enough to where people aren't.
Right. I know. Do you guys think that do you guys think any part of this was also because Dan Snyder's also kind of a bitch and people just wanted to see Dan Snyder have to change it? Like,
yeah,
because I think people just also, like, he's a heel and he's kind of a turd, and I think people just wanted, like, because Dan Snyder was like, we'll never change it, we'll never ever change it, we're not changing it now, we'll never change it, and then like as soon as Nike is like, we're changing it, or we're not gonna do deals anymore, Dan Snyder's like, we're gonna change it.
Okay, so he does. So I was making sure this is who I thought it was. He looks like a greasy fuck. Is he the one that has the allegations against him?
He is now.
They're not against him.
Not him. Not him.
Okay.
And actually, even the people making the allegations have predominantly said that he was never around for any of it. They said the old like general manager definitely was aware. They're like, how could he not be? He was like either in the room or really close at all times. But they're like, we can't accuse someone of being aware of something if we don't have proof, and they don't.
No, the backlash on him is that it's like, how could he not? Like from what I've heard on the radio is like, how could he not know? And it's like, well, you can not know. I mean, sometimes you can not know what's going on.
Like,
so
he's not
probably not gonna.
He's not Jerry Jones. He's not involved in every fucking thing.
There's not really any other owner GM combos out there. And not only that, but I think he likes to stay separated for that kind of stuff. That's why he hires coaches like Ron Rivera, who can also to quote Bill Parcells, shop for their own groceries. So it makes sense, which one of the best quotes ever, by the way.
I think a lot of owners should do that. You should have your coach be the one trying to get the talent that he wants to work with. I don't know why Jerry Jones has to dick in every situation.
There was a really good argument. Yeah, sorry to talk about real sports for a second, y'all, but there was a really good argument this week that I heard, and I would like to reiterate it, that the whole GM hiring at a different time than a coach, or hiring a coach at a different time than a GM, is a bad idea regardless, even if they are two different entities, which is probably why it's good that if they are the same entity. But if they're two different, and a good example right now is New York, right? So they have a GM, and then they got the new coach from the Patriots, even though he's a special teams guy, hilarious. So when you hire him at different times, and then you fire him at different times, the new GM isn't going to want to keep this old coach that he didn't hire himself. He's going to want to find a way for you to fail enough to where he can move on. So teams that usually have great success hire them at about the same time and let them stick around about the same amount of time. So the benefit of that I think it was like Pro Football Talk or something that I was watching this week, is that you don't get a GM who badmouths your new coach to your owner, and you don't get a coach who badmouths your GM to the owner. Like, they're hired together, they're a package deal. If you screw up, you're both done. And the idea of that is highly successful and not done enough. Yeah. So,
you actually see it a lot in other business. I mean,
right.
In big, but Zach, you're in the big boy business. When you see like a new CFO come on, though, a lot of times you see a lot of big changing of the guard. Anyone who was under the old guard, a lot of times those guys are let go.
And they're let go, and they either slowly or quickly, in situations I've seen, bring in all their people.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, all the business they used to work at, now all of a sudden the CTO from there works for you. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I mean? Like, the whole group either comes in quicker.
Sports are interesting. Sports are interesting because they do stuff separately. So they'll hire a GM or hire a coach. But in a lot of cases, it would be more realistic to hire a GM, and then the GM goes, "Okay, I'm going to bring in the coach that I want now."
Well, that's the Shanahan Lynch combination was really cool to watch, and I think that's they both came into the San Francisco, and it's very impressive what they've done from.
Well, and it seems like
there was Trent Baalke, who was just. I think he did draft. He drafted some really good players, but I don't know. They had their little spurt with Chip Kelly. I think, was he a coach? Right? Chip Kelly was the Niners coach, right?
Yeah, he did a brief stint there after Philadelphia.
Yeah. And that was an awful year. And then they had the guy that loves hot sub sandwiches. What's his name? What the fuck was that fucker's name?
The dude from Subway.
The guy that looked like Carl.
Jared Fogle.
No, not the child.
Maybe some hot water there.
What was that guy's name? Come on.
Tell
me, the janitor. They hired the janitor as the coach. What's his name?
Because he diddled too much.
The janitor. What's the janitor's name that they hired the coach?
This fucking show.
Tom Sula. Fuck yeah.
Tom Sula. All right.
Well, they also brought in Singletary, who
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tom Sula.
That was a legacy hire if I've ever
Tom
seen
Sula,
one.
Chip Kelly, and Trent Baalke was still there, right? And then
I think so.
I wanted Singletary to do good, though.
Everyone did. He was a legacy hire, man. Yeah. Everyone wanted him to do good.
I really wanted him to do good. Singletary.
I don't know who. Oh, the
he's like only one of the greatest 49ers of all time, right. And Hall of Famer.
Well, isn't there a running back for the Bills named Singletary now too?
Sure, there's been a few in the league.
Okay, so that's the only one I know is the running back for the Bills.
It's okay.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
Well, so anyways,
yeah.
I think that that dynamic of having the GM and the coach that really mesh together is it changes everything. Yeah, the Niners went from literally 4 and whatever to fucking making a Super Bowl.
Well, and they also have this good chemistry where it doesn't ever seem like Lynch is talking Shanahan into why they need to pick up a player. Like, because that's who he wants. Like, you can tell the Jimmy Garoppolo thing was primarily mutual. And if they ever choose to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, it'll be primarily mutual. And I think it's because John Lynch has so much faith in Kyle Shanahan's coaching ability, which why wouldn't you? He's the best coach in the NFL.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's not the GOAT, but he's the current GOAT.
He's my GOAT.
He might end up being, one of the top all time by the time it's all said and done. He's super young for a coach. But if he says we need this guy because he fits the offense I'd like to coach, John Lynch is going to go, let me go get you that guy. Let me go get.
And what I love is John Lynch John Lynch was a defensive player, right?
And yes, and he's built a great defense there. So it's almost like he handles the personnel over there.
Yeah.
And he lets Shanahan handle his own personnel on offense, is what it seems like.
I think the defense is only going to get better, obviously. And then I think the offense is like our biggest weakness, sadly to say, but like it, so many people trash on like what the Niners have. I don't know. I don't get why. But anyways, it's just cool to talk about the GM coach thing. I just feel like that's a very good example.
Yeah, it is.
Of going from this to this, and then having these two key guys come in and really make a difference.
Which is why on teams on like the Cowboys, where Jerry Jones is a meddling GM in himself, and they want whoever they bring in as a coach for the Cowboys never gets enough of a control on that team to do anything good. That's why it's been such a brief window of when they've had good seasons, because even after Jimmy Johnson was probably the Cowboys' best coach in the modern era, and even him and Jerry Jones didn't get along, and eventually Jimmy Johnson was let go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Sean, you want to know why people say negative things about the 49ers? It's because they're not fans of the 49ers, and that's what people do when they don't like teams. They find something to say mean about them. They say mean stuff about them.
I don't necessarily disagree with the offense conversation, though. I don't necessarily think our offense is the best thing in the world. Jimmy Garoppolo has a great arm. Like, he can,
I also don't. I know their defense is amazing too, but the defense did still lose the Super Bowl for them, though.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. In the end, yeah. But that's the point. That's what sucks is like.
Pat Mahomes made a deal with the devil, though. There was no way he was going to lose that game. All right. Basketball started.
Oh, wait, hold on. More football thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Alex Smith. We got to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
What happened?
He is given like a full release to play. I think it's a colossal bad idea, and I hope he doesn't play anywhere. I hope he gets the release. Like, this is what I hope for Alex Smith. I hope he did all this rehab and stuff to get the release to be able to come back and play. And then he goes, oh, man, I did it. They were going to let me play football again, but I'm not going to. And then I don't want that dude to get hurt again.
He's going to be a backup for Washington. He's not going to go in and they have to give Haskins a full year to show what he can do. And they're not going to turn their back on him that fast. He's going to go to Washington. He's going to be a backup. There's no preseason. He can literally just make a couple more $1 million over the next couple of years and just McCown it, man.
Yeah. Except for McCown plays a lot more than he ever should.
Yeah, McCown's like, you know what? I wasn't on this team on Tuesday. I'll play on Sunday.
Yeah, he was. He's a journeyman. He's a real journeyman.
And then he just takes that dong of his and waves it all over the defense's face. I think Alex Smith, I wouldn't want him with that offense. I wouldn't want to put him out there. That's asking him to do too much. But, maybe someone like Pat Mahomes goes down for the year or somewhere. He gets to go play for like an Andy Reid offense again. Exactly. Go back to where he was thriving.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I would be okay with that.
It's like, I hate to jinx or put like a bad omen on any player, but it's like they just gave Pat Mahomes a 10-year deal. This is when a superstar gets hurt, right? Like, It's just it's all something bad for the league always happens when they.
You saw it last year, man. His knee was this close to being a season-ending injury, right?
Right.
In that pileup. I know that because I had him on fantasy, and he fucked me.
Man,
yeah, I think it's cool that Alex Smith is cleared to play. What a comeback story. You know what? If he takes one goddamn snap in the NFL this season, he should get comeback player of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he just chooses to come back, he should win comeback player of the year.
If he comes back and he's on the sidelines wearing pads during a game,
I think he should give him.
You should get comeback player of the year.
You know, I never really pay attention to who wins that in the NFL because it always just felt like an NBA award to me. But I feel like he'd bring a lot more attention to it. It's also an award that you could give to J.J. Watt every other season.
Well, there's that one
always hurt.
That one Steelers player who he's never going to play again, though, right? The guy who
Shazier.
He's never going to play again, right?
He wants to. He won't, but
I don't think he will.
I think he's on the staff though. I think he.
I mean, he's at every game. I mean, you see him at every game.
Yeah, I think he's on their staff in some way. I think the last I saw, I think they took him. I think last year they took Shazier off the injury reserve list, so I think his time is done. He's on the staff though in some way, though. I do know that.
It's cool that he can walk. He'll never play again.
He's really lucky.
Anyways, that's all I had to say. The Alex Smith thing.
Also, they've filled his position now too. I mean, not to say that like Devin Bush or anybody is as good as Shazier was though, but I mean they have pretty well filled that position now.
I mean, they have a litany of first round talent on their defense. It's just if they had him, it would just be like an added bonus. And who knows? Maybe if he ever came back, he's a guy who doesn't play a bunch of defensive snaps, but maybe like 20, 25 snaps a game just to see if he can make an impact. I just don't know after all these years off and having basically a robot body what type of player he even could be.
I mean, he still can't even walk that well, right?
I guess we also don't even really know. Okay. Last I saw him, he was like, I follow him on Instagram or social media, one of the social medias, and they show videos of him doing stuff. He's a lot better now.
I think he's just regular people's now, Sean.
I think I just have like the image of him having a struggle walks.
Well, I don't
in my brain that I can't get it out.
I think that's why some people don't ever want to see him out on the field again. Similar to Alex Smith. The more you've watched on their rehab and their the documentaries they've done on them and the interviews and all that, you go, maybe just sit this next one out, bud. And by next one, I mean forever.
I mean, if I had not seen the documentary on Alex Smith, I still would probably be one of the ones saying like, man, let's get Alex out there.
I didn't even watch the documentary. I watched like the 8-minute kind of trailer that they did. I don't want to watch the whole thing.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it while you're eating or anything like that.
I was shit-faced. My friend made me watch it on Discord, and I love that. I loved him as a player so much. And
I love Alex Smith too. I really do. But I also just don't want to see him do it again. I just think it's insane. I think it's really cool that he's made the comeback that he has. It's amazing. I mean, it's a feat of superhuman ability to be able to make a return like that. Him and Shazier to be that healthy again after a huge injury like that is fucking nuts. But I do not want to see you play again. It's not because I just don't want to see Alex Smith out there. It's just because I don't want to see it happen again. I just think it's nuts. Man, Alex Smith's still wearing that he basically wears like this Under Armour pants that have like one pant leg and then the other pant leg is no pant leg. And it's because his leg without that is a goddamn Frankenstein leg. It's nuts looking. It's fucking crazy how weird his leg looks. I mean, it's like a halved leg. It's nuts. No human being should be playing a professional sports with that.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Woo! It's crazy. It's hard to see.
Anyways, I just feel like that's something we shouldn't have passed up on a conversation.
No, that's good. I like it.
I agree. One thing we really shouldn't pass up real quick before we go too deep into this is, do you guys think that the Seattle hockey team will get some sort of rum sponsorship with Kraken? And then
Oh, they should.
I hope
And
not.
then literally super soaker it into your mouth as you walk into the stadium.
Just get hammered. I'm going to.
Oh man, and they're like, and guess what? We made sure to find out exactly the age of every person coming to this game, and look under your seat, and it's just like a little mini bottle.
And then they like Oprah the crowd, like, "You all getting rum?"
Yeah, we actually put one under every seat, so if you have a child next to you, take theirs.
You get 2.
And you get 2, and then I just,
Oh yeah, just 2 of them right in the.
I stone cold them. Most people stone cold Coors Light or Miller Light, but I literally
clack that glass together.
But they're like little plastic bottles, right? So they probably just just keep bouncing.
Thud, and they you thud, and then you fucking down them.
I had my worst alcohol experience on the Kraken.
I've never actually had it, but it looks like pure syrup.
I have never.
You'd probably like it then, Derek, because it's very syrupy.
I'm sure it would. I have not been drinking Fireball lately. I have not been. We went camping a couple weeks ago, and I drank it a few nights, and it gave me such bad, like, acid reflux that I've decided I can't drink Fireball anymore.
You just drinking the Blue Mountains now?
Just drinking Blue Mountain.
Yeah. Me and my buddy Spencer, the man, the legend down here. Me and my buddy Spencer, we were talking about like hazy IPAs yesterday, and like you're an adult when you know, like, hey, I've had 2 of these, I should probably switch to Coors Light so I don't hate myself for the next weekend.
Yeah, because my stomach is gonna die.
When you're younger, you just drink whatever you have in the house till it's gone.
Yeah.
And like when I go buy nice beer, so I went into Barbarian for the first time since this started, and yesterday, and tried a couple beers that I've been wanting to try. Ended up getting like a nice like mixer of them. Had them can a few of them so I could take them home. Had an absolutely amazing saltwater taffy sour. That was just
Yum.
I had to get a couple of them because they use the actual saltwater taffy candies to make it.
That's pretty cool.
It's refreshing. Hit you with that vanilla up front, and then the sour comes on the back end, and you're like, "How?"
You're seriously you're convincing me to want to move back to Idaho.
But I had 2 of them, and I go, "Not so fast, motherfucker. You need to go buy a 12er of Coors Light just in case." Because then I had a couple of those, and I woke up and felt amazing today.
Yep.
But if I would have kept on that train, though, you guys wouldn't even have heard from me.
You wouldn't have heard from me for months.
You would have been like, Zach's out of the country. I don't even know how. They're not letting Americans into any countries right now, but you somehow made it in there.
Yeah, well, I mean...
You've been like Howard Hughes, like a long beard and those nails. Like just...
After
he
1
became
week.
a shut-in. After 1 week of drinking those.
You'd look like Jafar when he has that disguise in the dungeon.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and then someone just cracks open a Coors Light and hands it to me, and I take 1 sip, and I'm just back to this.
Back to normal.
Hey guys.
So what's up?
It's been a while.
What's up? Wow.
What's up?
All right. I love it.
I think I'm gonna start talking to people like with that much energy right off the bat.
Hey.
It's draining. You know when you meet those people that are like super high energy and you're just instantly drained.
What about people who?
You're talking about me.
You've never drained me.
Dude, if you saw me at 5 a.m. at work, you would fucking hate me. I fucking suck the energy out of these people because
you're like a vampire. Like
grumpy. They're grumpy and I'm awake. I'm a morning person, man.
So am I.
I wake up and I'm good. I'm not like it doesn't take me fucking 4 hours and 3 cups of coffee to get
I'm
going.
Also a morning person, and it drives my coworkers nuts.
You just go over to the pencil sharpener and just sharpen it until it's all the way down.
His eyes turn blue, and he's like,
I seriously, everyone's just walking into work like, and I'm just like,
you should get a job at
like 500 days of summer.
You should get a job at Dutch Bros.
I should. Hey, what's your plans this weekend?
You guys got any sick plans? Can I get in your car?
Plan? Here's your coffee.
Hi, I'm sitting on your lap right now. And you're like, can you get out of my car?
You got any plans later, or can I just sit here?
You guys got
any plans later? And I wish.
And it's not.
I swear, I swear to you, when I go to Dutch Brothers, I never, ever get the little cutie girl that's working in there. I always get the fucking bro dude that's like halfway in my car, like, what's up? Got any sick plans later? And I'm like, can I get you out of my car?
Like a coffee?
Do you mind if I just set up an espresso machine in your back seat so I can just like hang out here for a while? Do you guys got any? What are your plans later, man? Because I actually am homeless. So, what is the
Dutch
house
Bro
situation
doesn't
like?
pay me that well.
That's great.
What is the house situation you got going on? I'd rather have the dude. So if they're like, "What are you doing later?" I'm like, "You."
Do you,
Boop, 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 boop.
On their nose.
You sweet little man, Peach. Yeah, you don't have to reach very far. They're already in your car.
They're in your car, yeah. Boop, boop, boop.
all right, okay,
And
okay.
then it was like, okay, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying,
Now I finished. So can you please get out?
guys. Hey, come on. Let's go. What's next? What's next?
All right. Basketball reactions. I want to know how you guys felt about the basketball games. We texted a little bit about it, but basketball did start. These games don't matter. These are like the preseason games. They feel more like G League basketball. I don't know. I follow, obviously, the Blazers' social media. There's a bunch of people that are like, oh, Blazers choked it up again in the third quarter. And it's like, dude, these games don't matter. They were like
Right.
smiling and laughing and stuff. There was the one play where CJ McCollum went up for the dunk and fell on his ass, and they're all like laughing for like 4 plays afterwards.
Right.
Basically, like on both sides, they're all laughing, like including CJ McCollum.
Well,
It was hilarious to see.
so yeah, it's pretty obvious these games were absolutely necessary for these guys to get their legs back under them, and they knew it was going to take time. That's why the first game for everybody was 10-minute quarters instead of 12.
Right.
And even then, stuff like that was happening. By game 2, so yesterday, Boston and Oklahoma City played yesterday morning, and it was sloppy, but they were playing hard. So that's good to see. It's good to see how much effort they're putting in there, but it was sloppy on both ends. And also, that's 2 hard-playing defensive teams. So it was the amount of steals and deflections was even more intensified. Kind of hard to watch. What's up, Sean?
So these are all teams that have a chance to make
All of them.
the playoff, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
All
Yeah,
of them.
except for like, I don't know, the Kings and the Suns.
But they do have a chance, right? If they won every game.
If they won every game, they would be in.
If they won every game and
They'd at least
the
get the
Blazers
play-in.
lost every game, and there's
Like,
some
stuff like that.
extenuating circumstances.
I mean, it's
there.
not going to
Yeah.
happen, but it'd be cool.
The Blazers have the tiebreaker over every other team 9th or below. And then the Suns, Kings also have a couple extra losses than them. And then the Spurs just played 1 less game. So even though we match all those teams in the loss column, we played 1 less game. So we have 1 less win than all of them, which makes it really uphill for us. And we got handled by Milwaukee in the 4th, but I don't know if any Milwaukee starters were playing, so I didn't really feel bad about it. We were up most of the first half. What is that?
Jamal Adams traded to Seahawks.
Jamal Adams traded to the Seahawks.
Wow, apparently bashing your coach does work.
Wow.
So I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday, but he's like, Adam Gase just isn't the guy. Like, he's just not the right coach for us.
Oh, you couldn't tell when he was coaching the fucking Dolphins?
Yeah, you can't tell by the fact that he's never been good at his job, which
He
is coaching.
You
Like a
couldn't tell
fucking-
that. You couldn't tell when Adam Gase couldn't do good with Tannehill, who I think is a great quarterback.
I did too.
Well, Tannehill was basically hurt the whole time Gase was there.
I know.
But Jamal Adams, so backstory is he's been asking for a trade all offseason, regardless. They weren't granting it to him. He's tried everything. He's been like, this place sucks. These people, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's terrible. And none of it worked. So then yesterday or the day before, he's just like, yeah, I just think Adam Gase is not a good leader. If he wants to, like, say something to us, like he's mad about how he played in the first half, he, like, leaves the locker room and has a different coach chew us out or whatever. He's just like, he's not a good leader of a team, which I believe all that. But interesting, the timing. And it was like he just basically said it because nothing else worked, right?
Right.
Like, he tried everything. But apparently all you have to do is just be like, yeah, but Adam Gase is also a piece of shit. So that's good to know for any other Jets player who wants out of there.
Well, I just feel bad because I would like to see the Jets do good.
If I was the ownership or the management of that team, if I was the GM, I'd be like, I don't want to lose Jamal Adams. I also don't want to pay him as much as he wants, but I don't want to lose him. I'd probably rather get rid of Adam Gase. That's just me. I'd rather keep one of the top 3 safeties in the league than have one of the bottom 3 coaches. Yeah. But,
especially when you have like, what's his name? Their quarterback. Fuck me.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. You have
one they still have Le'Veon Bell.
Who didn't have a bad season for.
He was just hurt. His stats were bad because he was injured for a little bit.
Yeah, but every time he made some really good runs and Anyways, sorry, basketball.
No, that's all right. It's perfect.
I think the gist of basketball is that every team has a chance. Everyone's hopeful. When you watch these games, even if your team loses, you're like, wow, we look pretty good given circumstances. And Lakers lost day 1, Spurs lost day 1, Portland lost day 1, and none of us weren't. Maybe you, Sean, you seemed a little upset that your team lost.
Well, I didn't understand. Like
LeBron didn't play the 4th.
I thought they were just starting.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. So like Portland lost their first game, but boy, what a comeback! I mean, I was excited to see like Hazonia take the lead in the 4th quarter there and like mount a cool comeback. And then also, I gotta say, I'm just so excited and so happy to see Zach Collins and Nurk out there again.
And Nurk came out looking great.
Yeah, Zach still was a little rusty, but I mean.
But Zach's not really a scorer, so if you're just looking at like the box score, he's one of those guys where a lot of the stuff he does doesn't even show up in the stats because he's an energy guy. And I think what's cool now with
he's a
Nurkic,
chippy defensive player.
Now that Nurkic is back, though, we're going to get high pick and rolls with Nurkic and Damian Lillard. We're going to get high pick and rolls with CJ McCollum and Nurkic, and then we're also going to get some really interesting play. I think this Melo looks trimmed up. I think Melo moves down to the 3 so he still can start. Especially with Ariza out, that's a big team.
Yeah,
because Zach Collins was a center in college, and now he's their power forward. Nurkic is a center. Right. Melo's been playing like chubby Melo power forward ball, kind of like he did his last couple of years with the Knicks. They can move him to small forward, which means he's just shooting those wing shots, which is where he probably needs to be at this stage of his career. And like you mentioned, they finally have a bench, which they haven't had all year.
Right.
So,
oh man, we still have Whiteside. We still have like I said, what was it, Mario? Like that was pretty cool.
And then we got to see if Nasir Little can also step up. He's one of those guys we've said he's a rookie, but they're not really rookies anymore. They just had 4 months off. Most of these guys came back with like different bodies. Which, by the way, Zion Williamson leaves for a couple weeks, already fat again, but we'll get there.
What was it, Simons?
Was it Simone? I think it's like Simone.
Is this Simone? He's still, I'm still so hopeful for him for the future.
He's a bucket getter. He gets buckets.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really hopeful for the Blazers. I think the fans are. I think the team is. That's exciting. We were in the text. I was saying I really hope we get one more year of Melo and it's a retirement year. I think it'd be really cool for him to retire as a Blazer. I think he's gonna want one more season after this. I think a lot of people are, but once again, this was a longer layoff than a real offseason. It's the biggest break any of us or any of them have probably ever had from playing basketball competitively. So it's not like next year he's actually coming back for one more year. It's almost like it's a whole nother year after that in a way. You know what I mean? Like he's getting a whole like extra season where he probably would have been retired. But I'm glad he worked for this comeback. I'm glad he's there. I think Portland's got a lot to prove. There's been a lot of people leaving and coming back and leaving the bubble again, and Portland's not really one of them. Nope.
I would say the Spurs are also not one of them, but all of our veterans are hurt. Man. So
why can't they just stay in the bubble?
So what I've heard is this is all stuff, normally half of the games are home games. A lot of these family issues and stuff they're dealing with are just things we never find out about in a regular NBA season because they're home. They can go deal with this personal stuff, and we never see it. But now that on the other side of the country, especially for all these Clippers that have been leaving, they're going from Florida to California to handle family matters, and we just would have never known about.
Because there's players like Melo who lives in New York, works in Portland,
and now is stuck in Florida.
I mean, like, I think that's a.
So does he just fly to Portland all the time, or does he have a place in Portland?
I mean, he probably has like a place in Portland, but he does have. I mean, his wife and his kids are still in New York.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So
it would be hard to want to, because that's where he was all his career.
Yeah.
But like, so Zion's already back, and it's funny because when he got to the bubble the first time, everyone's like, look at all this muscle he has. He lost some baby fat, and he leaves for a couple weeks for like a family thing. It didn't even feel like 2 full weeks, and then they show him practicing yesterday, and I'm like, is he fat again already? It makes me genuinely concerned about the longevity of this dude's career. Like, I just feel like he is going to be a chunk like 10 years down the road.
He's going to look like Kendrick Perkins, just a fatty
but like 4 inches shorter, and it's like, what is his position going to be?
Yeah,
when he's a 6'7" center who can't jump.
I know.
Anymore.
I almost wonder if he actually, Zach, you're kind of talking about how short Houston is. Basically, it's almost like Zion would fit in better with a Houston team because they're making sense of like these short players.
Right, they're figuring it out, and Houston. Man, I finally got a chance to watch them, and I like them even more in this bubble environment now. I was already kind of riding the hype train. And
did Westbrook show up? Sorry.
I mean, the very first bucket of the game yesterday was Westbrook scoring, and
because I knew he was COVID
tested positive. Yeah.
So I didn't, and I read that, and I hadn't heard if he had actually joined the team. I did see, because I follow all the teams on every social network.
What I'm really confused about is, and Zion's back and practicing already, right? What I'm really confused about is if you leave the bubble, I thought the standard was if you leave the bubble, you have to wait 2 weeks when you come back. You can't just immediately jump into stuff. It's not just the negative test. You have to get negative tested every day for the 2 weeks like it was before. But this almost just seems like because it was Zion in particular, they adjusted the rule, which they've been doing this entire time. And these Zion rules are crazy. It's like all of a sudden that 2 weeks doesn't exist because it's Zion, and now they have to let it slide for everyone else too.
Why? I don't get why.
Because he's the second most popular player in the league right now.
Already.
Why? He hasn't done anything.
No.
Exactly.
And I don't know why. I mean, he's got like this like weird, nice guy, Tebow personality. I don't know why people cling to that so much.
He played for Duke, right?
Yeah.
And
but he wouldn't have.
March Madness, obviously there wasn't this one. Who did they play? Texas Tech, and it was like a really close game.
Yeah.
Is Zach stuck, or did we lose him?
Zach might be stuck.
Anyway, do you know what game I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Duke.
I think he had to bail and then come back, so we'll get him back here.
Yeah. Well, I want to wait. I want to talk about this because I watched that game, and I want to see if Zach remembers the game. Or do you remember the game I'm talking about?
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember during March Madness, right, when they actually played in March Madness.
It was a super close game, and Texas Tech lost by a shot.
Welcome back.
I lost internet. There's a lot happening in this house right now. Unstable Wi-Fi.
That's all right.
Unstable. So what I was saying before you, by the way, the face you were making, that is perfect. I actually thought you were still with us.
Yeah, I thought you were just being I thought you were just trolling, like.
Yeah. So do you remember? Okay, so yeah, it was March Madness. Duke was playing Texas Tech. It was a super close game. It's like the only game I watched because everyone kept talking about Zion. So I was like, okay, I'll try to watch it because Bridget's parents had cable or TV, so I could watch it. And I was rooting for Texas Tech because I was like, fuck this Zion guy, motherfucker.
I was rooting for Texas Tech as well.
It was just it was a really close game. Texas Tech lost literally by a shot. But
yeah,
I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal of him. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like his style.
It's also I know I said that it's funny that I don't get why people like nice guys, but it's like kind of true. I feel like these nice guys in the league are boring to me. I don't know why, but I'm not in. There's no appeal there.
So is that what
it's
nice guy?
He is. He is like a super nice guy. He's like Lamar Jackson.
He's a nice kid.
So out of that entire Pelicans team, I mean, I like the ex-Lakers the most. I like Ingram, and
there's plenty of them.
I like there's like 3 or 4 of them, right?
Well, and what's funny about Lonzo and his popularity or lack thereof, it's like people like him or dislike him for things that he didn't even do or say. Someone else did and said all these things for him.
His dad's a piece of shit. That's
Ingram. I love Ingram, and what's funny is I've never even heard him talk.
Yeah, he doesn't. He is. Exactly. The whole time in LA, he just played basketball.
When DeMar DeRozan played for the Raptors, before I had ever even heard an interview with DeMar DeRozan, I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, me too.
There's just certain players that are like that. It's their game that's polarizing, and maybe that's where the Zion thing is he was that internet sensation when he was a kid. It really doesn't. He could be an asshole actually, and people would still like him because the hype train started so early, and people hop on the hype train.
I mean, maybe that's why I don't like him. I don't know about his internet craze. I
don't like hype trains, so that's why I'm a total fucking hater. I hate things that are good.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Kawhi Leonard was like a really charismatic guy? Like how crazy his career would be.
People would hate him.
You know why I like him so much? Have you seen the videos of Kawhi Leonard doing karate?
No.
I'm about to.
You should. Yeah, someone should look that up real quick.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if you just gotta Google video Kawhi Leonard doing karate, but that should be all it takes.
I just typed in Kawhi Leonard karate.
Sometimes I have a really hard time remembering if I like actually saw something in real life now with the pandemic going on, or if I just dreamed it because I'm that bored. But no, there's definitely a video of Kawhi Leonard breaking boards with a bunch of kids.
Nope, I'm watching that right now.
They're all kids in his class, and he's just breaking boards. I want to see it. You can cue it up.
I'm gonna put it on. I'll put it up.
That's the first thing I found was that.
I'll throw it up there.
Yeah, go ahead and pop it on the screen for me.
I'll throw it up there.
Pop it up for daddy.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I don't like the daddy thing.
Well, apparently you do. Jack's like, I like it. I'm into it. Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm into it.
You guys might not like
Kawhi Leonard, man. I do. I liked him when he was on the Spurs.
Stay tuned. We got stuff cooking up in here. Gonna chop y'all up. Look at all of this. Karate style.
Is he a black belt?
I mean, I don't see nothing on that belt, on that black gi.
He is such a bad motherfucker, dude.
I love him.
I want to see like a 9-year-old girl walk up and do the exact same thing right after him, though, just to show that it's something they can all do.
I want him to be on my team so bad. I don't even care how they make the deal happen.
I mean, he was
supposed to be the chosen one.
He didn't go to LA, but the whispers was that he could have.
Well, when he went to LA.
Yeah. The whispers were right.
I mean, when I say LA, you know what the fuck I mean.
You're like LA.
I mean LA.
You mean LA.
He did go to LA though. He did go.
Well, you've never had tacos unless you've had tacos from LA.
LA.
And you've never hiked unless you've hiked in LA.
Right.
Okay. So
I'm from the Pacific Northwest.
Go to LA. You went to some sad, pathetic fucking side team that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
man, and they still might win. They still might win it all.
Yeah, they're gonna have all their guys slowly shuffle out of the bubble and shuffle back in, and they're still gonna win a championship.
Yeah,
because they're that good. It's crazy.
He's so good. He's so good, though.
He's just so good. He's so good at karate.
He's so good at karate. He's so good at basketball.
I think you're just jealous because you're not good at karate.
How do you guys feel?
I told you guys my karate story, and I told you it in confidence. Didn't I tell you the karate story?
Dennis told me about these shorts.
I was in karate in Pocatello, and I got beat up by a girl, so I quit. I was in the fourth grade.
You didn't tell me that, or I would have never forgotten it.
I was in Well, now
How did you guys feel about the feel of the basketball games overall, though, with no fans?
Well,
With
I've only watched highlights, and I like it. It's not as awkward as I thought it would be.
The sound isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Same
you can
here.
hear the squeaking, which we knew.
Okay.
And then I think I shared something with you guys yesterday, but they're going to use those big TVs that are wrapping around the stadium, and they're going to start like showing people watching the games over Zoom. So like,
Oh,
us
that's
doing
cool.
this. Yeah, so it's like the
Did we
NFL
get
draft
in
how
there?
they did that.
Did
Yeah.
we get in there?
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure.
We should try.
We should take our StreamYard post and literally just have it going on the whole time, and then we should just yell profanities.
Yes.
Ah.
Show me your dick.
No, we won't say anything. We won't say any cuss words, so they'll get rid of us. We'll just like,
Show me your teeth.
yeah, we'll substitute like a TNT rated R movie.
Yeah.
You ever watch the Blade trilogy on TV?
You're a bunch of cat lickers. It's just never anything that even makes sense. There's like way closer swear words that are able to be said on TV, and then instead they pick something that we've never heard of before.
What was that? I always liked the Happy Gilmore. It's like, I eat pieces of butt like you for breakfast.
But
You're acting like a total horse trough.
yeah, this is like you cadoodle think. And
I had an idea for what they could do for the bubble, though. I figured it out, you guys.
Well, they got a barber shop. You guys did see that, right?
I did see that.
Cool. Okay.
I think what they could do for those games is I think they should hire out to the WWE to bring up the talent to come up and watch those games.
And they should never sit. They should circle the court the whole time,
Just like they do for WWE.
And they taunt them.
I
Like
think
they
it'd be
do.
cool. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
And I think Jericho should sing every national anthem.
Oh man, he should.
Have you been following his feud? His he's in the middle of a feud with some like butt rock singer from the 80s.
Yes, he is.
And he kept challenging him to actually sing. He's like, you lip sync every time. You're just miming the. And then he does actually sing and he records it. And then the guy's like, okay, you really sang that time, but you suck. You're really bad. I was like, Jericho can't win this.
He can't.
But he did win because he's still relevant.
I love Jericho.
I love that argument that people will make. Like, you didn't do it, and then they do it, and like, well, you still suck.
Yeah, exactly. It's a catch-20. You can't win that.
Do you guys remember that video a few years ago of Jack Black singing the national anthem at the WNBA game?
Was it amazing?
Oh, it was super good. I mean, it wasn't like produced like on TV, like so you couldn't like hear it as crisp, but he sang the national anthem at a WNBA game, and it was fantastic. It was so good.
I love me some Jack Black.
Me too. And it was just after Fergie had done so poorly.
Which is funny because
which was also amazing.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I would rather watch Fergie do poorly or Jack Black do well.
Yeah. Did you guys watch that video for Jack Black do it?
I mean, I'm going to.
Yeah,
later.
I'll send it to you after this. It was really great though. It was fantastic. I love Jack Black though. So
I think everyone does.
So basketball though, we all decide it. No fans. It's fine. There's
fine.
It's not like watching wrestling, which is
it'd be right. You would have to. In wrestling, we saw it for weeks without fans, and it was hard to watch. In basketball, it's been fine. The only thing I really missed is definitely like the defense chants and the
they can put
stuff
that in if they wanted.
It just makes me wonder. I think it's fine for what they're doing right now because it already feels like summer league. But once we get into the playoffs, I'm just wondering if you can feel the playoff intensity without the crowd noise. That's going to be where we can actually have this conversation.
Well, I'm excited because, I'm not going to say that the crowd takes away from the experience or what have you, but we're going to be really focused on what these players are feeling and the emotions during these games.
Because we're going to be able to hear them more. They're going to have to focus more on them.
Yeah.
And the coaches. I think we're going to get the roller coaster ride from the sidelines. Truly, they're going to give us probably more insight to the ups and downs. Speaking of from the sidelines, Greg Popovich decided to play assistant coach and let Becky Hams do all and I wonder how many games we're going to get that for. Because I think we would have got it with Timmy. I think Tim Duncan would have gotten some coaching experience, but he decided to stay home with LaMarcus. That was his excuse. Really, it's just he's a Hall of Famer, and he probably didn't want to go hang out in a bubble for a couple months.
He's like, well, I've seen the world. I don't give a shit.
And also like LaMarcus probably could have had the surgery when the season was over. So it's like he kind of did the same thing. So I think they're just like, you want to just like, I don't know, stay back in San Antonio and do karate. And then the other one was like,
Do they all do karate?
Well, so Tim Duncan does like MMA stuff, and his kickboxing for being a 7-foot man is incredible.
So is that why Kawhi's into it too, or do you think it was like a thing?
Judging by the fact that Kawhi's already a black belt, he's probably been into this for a while.
Yeah, dude, that video I fucking love. Anyways, whatever. Yeah. I love Kawhi Leonard.
Me too. I mean, I think overall, it's just exciting that basketball is back in general. Really, I mean, realistically,
just all of it.
Yeah,
it's all back.
Yeah,
baby.
Baseball's back. I know we haven't talked about that yet.
Well, that's next,
no,
right?
And I know we talked about football for a little bit, but I did want to point out at least that they did release that if football is able to have fans, the fans will be mandated and ordered to wear masks at the games.
What bullshit?
Well, and I agree that I agree that it shouldn't be a big deal. I know that it is going to be a big deal, and I feel bad for the staff, for the stadium staff that are going to have to enforce that rule.
So you know what would be cool, and this is what they should do, is they should make, because they're a multi-million-dollar company, so who gives a shit, you know how when you go to games and they'll have,
like the free
you
stuff.
go there, you get a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Give a fucking mask with your team's fucking thing on.
I think it's a great idea.
Whether for both teams, the home team and the away team. If you're there for the away team, get an away team mask. That's cool.
I'll say Lewis Clark State College, they did buy, or I guess athletics department is buying masks to purchase, which I think is cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the masks, and they're doing the things that, I don't know what they're called, like the hunters wear them, though. Yeah. You know, like which I think is actually, those are more comfortable, I think, than a mask.
A lot of people at my work have been wearing those because they're all redneck fucks and they are hunters and they can...
I know, but I think they actually are more comfortable than a mask.
Well, I'm having a hard time, man, because my face gets so itchy.
It's just hot.
It's not that I can't breathe. It's fine. That's not a problem.
No.
My face gets super itchy, and behind my ears isn't a problem. Like, it's not hurting me. You know what I mean? So
I think it's just that it's summer and it's hot. Do you wear a mask to work?
Me?
Yeah.
I have to. Yeah, we are mandated to wear them we weren't, and now we are.
We're allowed to not wear masks in our immediate workspace, but if we leave our workspace, our immediate workspace, we're supposed to wear a mask anywhere we go.
Yeah, so some of the departments at my work do not have to because they don't work near anybody. I literally am 3 feet from another person, so yeah, which is fine. I don't care.
And Zach, are you remote? Zach, are you remote?
Zach's remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not wearing a mask at home, I hope.
No, I only wear one to the gym because that's the only time I leave the house.
He wears a mask at his own desk.
Yeah. So that's the NFL. Yeah. So NFL thing, mask. That's cool. And I think to make it less of an issue, they should do that kind of swag style thing where you come, you're here to watch. You're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're here to watch Green Bay. Here's your Green Bay mask. Whatever.
I think it'd be also cool if there is a big stink raised above it. I think it'd be cool for them to discount ticket prices, though, for those of us who don't give a shit about wearing a mask and wouldn't mind going to watch a football game.
Well, that's the thing is, having people come there will be cool, but I think they really do need to do something for people who aren't. They're going to have to do something to have people be able to watch the games. They're not going. Games shouldn't be blacked out this year.
I personally don't think. I think the mask thing from the NFL is basically them saying, if we have fans, they're going to have to wear masks. I truthfully don't think they're going to have fans. What
do you think about blacking out games?
Oh, I think that's weird. I first off, I hate when they black out games anyways.
I do
so
too.
I'm vehemently against it. I think especially now though, if you cannot go to, I think every single NFL game should be accessible to somebody who wants to watch those games.
Well, and it's called the internet, where it already exists for free. All of it's free. If you pay for any of it, you're so stupid. You're so dumb.
I buy the Sunday ticket.
Why?
But that's because Bridget is a student and she gets it for cheap.
Yeah, I did that when I was a student as well.
So,
and the day I wasn't, I was like, why?
I
Because it's all on the internet for free.
Well,
when we get off the show here, when we get off the show here, you're gonna have to tell me how to do it because I don't know how to do that.
Reddit. It's all on Reddit. Go to Reddit and then type in NFL streams.
And that's the thing. I like to go to just like sports bars.
I do too.
There's in my town, not a big town. It's not a big town. It's a great town, but it's not a big town. But they have the bowling alley is like the only place that has every game, but they have like projectors behind the bar, 3 big projectors, so you get like 3 games there. They have TVs all over. I like to go to that.
Okay.
I would prefer to do it in my own house, but
yeah,
I'm not rich.
So, we'll talk briefly on baseball first. I mean, it is back. I was disappointed. I knew the Mariners would lose in their first game back, but what I was more disappointed about is to hear that through all of this, through COVID, through everything, I don't know how we didn't beam more players on the Astros team. So kind of through all of this, it's just basically forgotten that the Astros cheated and they're pieces of shit and that city sucks. And
yeah, well,
they got a slap on the wrist at most.
Well,
yep.
The season's not over. Maybe the Mariners knew they didn't have a chance anyway, so they're not as mad as other teams.
Maybe. So.
Yeah, I think they should wait until they've they should wait until Houston has the best record in the league, and right before the playoffs start, go. Actually, you're not allowed. Like you tried this hard for nothing, you stupid bitch.
Well, just wait until they play like the Dodgers or
Yeah.
We'll see.
Baseball, I will say though, without any fans in the stands, does not matter. It really doesn't.
Yeah,
I think that it doesn't matter at all to me. It doesn't even feel different. It's like that in the UFC. I think have the easiest transitions. It just feels exactly the same almost.
Yeah.
I'm watching a game right now, the Angels versus the Athletics, and it's literally you have those little cardboard things. It
doesn't matter.
I think
it doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of those teams. I mean, the Oakland A's. A lot of those teams. Some of those games are at half capacity, anyways. So it does not matter. Also, baseball is a really good radio sport, anyways. I've always said that. I always listen to the Mariners on the radio. That's how I used to watch it, anyways, which is by listening on the radio. And there's a reason why baseball on the radio is so much better than football or any other sport on the radio. It's because you don't need the fan participation. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. At least now, nobody will get hit in the face. Like no toddlers will get hit in the face with a goddamn ball.
True.
But also, I think it's easier to explain a base hit over the radio than like what James Harden does with a basketball,
right?
For example, if you haven't, basketball is a beautiful game to watch. Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful sport. It's fluid. Right. It's amazing. Watching quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson work with a football, not even close to the same excitement. But in baseball, just going, McCann, RBI single, you're like, okay.
I know baseball is really more about a rhythm. I feel like baseball to me, I've always really liked it because I feel like it helps with like my anxiety. Like it's just a good rhythm. I like listening to it on the radio. I've always really liked a lot of the radio personalities that come from baseball. Like Bob Uecker.
Yeah. I still think that the best voices in sports broadcasting are still in baseball. And I truly believe that.
Yeah. So I think baseball's fine. It'll be fine on, throughout this season. It'll be fine for having no fans. It's going to be okay. Where it'll hurt is obviously just ticket sales. And it'll hurt. I feel bad for the staff that work at baseball games that, aren't going to get, they're out of a job right now. And that's too bad. Nobody's able to sell peanuts and Cracker Jacks. It's too bad. I feel bad for those people though that normally rely on that seasonal
It's a lot
sport.
of jobs. It's a lot of jobs.
Yeah, and so I feel bad for those people. Same with basketball. I felt bad for those staff that that work in those stadiums, and that's a lot of people who do that for a living.
But that being said, that's just a microcosm of every other type of business that is suffering in the country. You know what I mean? We're just looking at one. We're looking at one industry.
Right.
We're looking at one industry. Which reminds me, if you're gonna rip off somebody, rip off the NFL. Don't rip off the freaking small businesses that like are relying on everything. Like, if you're gonna go buy a 12-pack of Coors Light, also go buy a 6-pack from a local brewery. That's all I'm saying. Because those people might not make it through it, and who's thriving right now? Coors Light, Amazon, Walmart, that type of shit. If you still shop at any of those, or even still have an Amazon subscription for anything other than watching The Boys, you're trash.
Yeah,
you're absolutely trash. And by the way, you can watch The Boys for free on the internet, and you should.
You guys, I love Amazon.
Fuck Amazon.
Fuck Jeff Bezos.
No, I mean the whole thing.
No, because they got a good streaming service.
No, the internet has a good streaming service for free.
No, I don't want things like that. One, and also I rent movies still.
Oh, there you go.
Well, why did you stop doing it from a local video shop that, probably you could have kept Blockbuster alive, bud. But you didn't.
Blockbuster is alive. Go to Bend. You know that.
That's the last one. Yeah, I know. We're right in between us. This is the last one ever.
I was in a video store for 5 years, man. I'm big on that. So.
Well, and Hastings in Lewiston was actually still successful.
I went there until they went out of business.
I mean, Hastings and Lewiston's had to go out of business because Hastings as a company went out of business. But the one here was fluid. It was fine.
No way. Yeah. That was my childhood.
And that's a shame. That's a shame that they had to. It would have been cool if somehow, somebody could have stepped in and bought some of those Hastings locations in small towns like mine and to stay, but like, no, these ones will be all right. People went to Hastings, man. It was still busy in there.
I think I got every game console I ever owned from Hastings.
I did too.
I mean, I worked all through high school at the Royal Plaza, and I would get paid every 2 weeks. I'd go spend $200 in there. I'd go spend my entire paycheck in there.
Yeah, I used to buy a ton of stuff from Hastings. I used to love that store. I used to also love going through all the used games. I think that's why Gameplay over in Clarkston still does pretty good. I mean, you can still go. It's tough because COVID, but people
should be supporting them.
They're doing doors. Yeah. They do roadside,
especially over Amazon.
They do roadside. Gameplay does.
I don't buy my video games from Amazon. I will buy a movie if I cannot find it.
I rent movies from there because you have to rent them from somewhere.
Yeah.
I will say that every game that I've bought over probably the last couple of years has just been through whatever console I play it on.
Just a digital copy?
Yeah. But I rather buy, say I need a cord for my PlayStation. I'm going to buy it off Amazon. Otherwise, I'll have to go to Walmart. Video game stores don't have it. They don't just have a random power cord that you need.
Gameplay might, honestly, in Clarkson. It's a good store.
Yeah, maybe. I think it depends where you live. So, depending on where you live, Amazon might be crucial.
So, yeah, where I live, I have to. I don't have to.
I'm not really saying don't use Amazon and being an asshole. But what I am saying is if you have another option, and that's not just with Amazon, that's with anything. If you have something you can support locally instead for a buck or two more, because it's really not as substantial as people like to believe it is, do it, is all I'm saying.
It's like get a McDonald's hamburger, or I can go to Sharps. I'll choose Sharps any day.
And if you have a chance to torrent The Boys instead of watching it on Amazon, do it.
Which, by the way, the new season of The Boys should be out.
But that's not fair, Zach, because you doing that means The Boys might not get renewed. That's where the problem lies.
Well,
they just got renewed for season 3, though.
Yeah, they're already renewed.
They did, and season 2 hasn't aired yet. But that's hard.
Boy, that bodes well, though, right? That bodes well for how good this new season's gonna be. If season 3's already fucking approved, oh man, that makes me so excited for season 2.
Do you guys watch The Dragon Prince on Netflix?
Not yet.
Okay, well, it got renewed for like 4 more seasons, and the new season isn't even out yet. So
I don't even know what that is.
It's a really. It's. Do you like? Did you like The Last Airbender?
Oh, that's right. That's what it is.
The show.
Avatar, not the movie. Don't ever talk about it.
You're not talking about the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, he twisted us.
He did
in that one.
He did.
He did.
By
It was a
getting
really
us to
good
watch
twist.
It.
Yeah, it was the
twist.
twist.
He convinced us it was a movie.
The M. Night Shyamalan twist for that movie is that it was a movie and not a big old garbage heap.
Isn't it funny that the very end of that movie is the like a total lead in to the next one too? Like it ends on one of those like, here's what's gonna happen next time, and we're like, no, it's not. Like you could watch that. You could have watched that movie day one in theaters and go, there's not gonna be a next time.
Yeah,
we all know that M. Night.
So visually, that movie was good. It looks good visually,
but it's bad in all other ways.
Yeah.
But you did what D.B. Weiss and Benioff did with Game of Thrones. You thrusted your creative license into its butthole and you ruined it.
He also casted literally all like white actors to be in that movie.
Yeah. Speaking of
he
didn't
just do that. He just casted everybody that's ever been in a fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what he does. But speaking of Game of Thrones, maybe that's what they should do with the Astros this year. Every time that they hit a home run, they should strip them of their clothes and make that lady shame walk them around the bases.
I love it.
I like that.
I love it.
No, they're like, the guy will start to jog, and they're like, no, you can't jog. You have to walk slowly.
All right, Altuve. All right, Altuve. Nothing.
Yeah, why don't you pop those little pants off for Papa? Why
don't you pop the little child-sized pants off there, Altuve?
Why don't you whip that little donger of yours out and let's get this party started? I got the bell.
All right, Zach, do you want to do some UFC?
Sure do.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. So if you watched the last time I did these 2 weeks ago, yes, I was 100% accurate on all picks. That's just what I do.
That's impressive.
Actually, it was extremely chalk. Every Vegas favorite on the main card won. What I did not do on the show, but I did on my pick'em, because I also absolutely annihilated the undercard, which is hard to do because most people don't know who half of those guys are. And honestly, I probably didn't either. I had to do a little bit of research. I'll probably start with the Alex Oliveira fight because that's, I think, where the main card starts. And I'm picking Alex Oliveira, and I'm just going to go ahead and skip on through because no one probably cares. Next fight, Paul Craig versus a dude who I cannot say his name at all. Jeez. Paul Craig that's easy to say. So
that's great.
I'm going to take Paul Craig because I can't say the other guy's name.
That's hilarious.
It's long, man. It's long. Next fight's Carla Esparza versus Marina Rodriguez. I think Marina Rodriguez is supposed to be like an up-and-coming like woman in the 115-pound division. She's also got an absolutely massive size advantage, being 5'6" to Carla Esparza's 5'1". That being said, I think Carla Esparza, who is, I believe, the like original champion of this weight class, she's still got a lot of fight left in her, and she'll find a way to get it to the ground. That's like what she does. Every time she goes against a bigger woman, you're like, Carla's going to lose. And I say that every time, and I always pick against her, and I'm always wrong. So I'm going to pick Carla Esparza as the only underdog to win on the entire card. The next fight is Fabricio Verdum, who's just a goddamn legend at this point, versus Alexander Gustafsson, who first fight at a heavyweight. So he normally fights at 205. He's bulked up to about 240, which is, he probably didn't bulk up at all. That's probably his natural weight. He was just cutting from 240 to 205 to fight at that weight class, which is crazy. He also was really close to being the champion at that weight class. He had that top 10 all-time fight against John Jones, which I always said he won, but the judges didn't see it that way. He is a huge favorite in his first fight at heavyweight, probably because he's not 41 like Verdum is. And I'm sticking with him. I think he'll look good at the weight class. I don't know if he'll stay up at 240 pounds or if he'll start cutting weight again, but I hope he stays up there because him trying to cut down to 205 caused him to retire already, like once, and I'm glad he got out of there. Speaking of old people, the next fight is Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Rodrigo Nogueira. I can never say his nickname in the middle of there, so I'll just skip it. Their first fight was 15 years ago in Pride in Japan, and it was one of the greatest fights of all time. It was fucking awesome. That was like Pride, which if you've never watched a Pride fight, there was like almost no rules. There's only 5 UFC people left that ever fought in Pride, and 3 of them are on this card tonight, which is crazy. I kind of think it just shows, one, they put a lot of old people on this card. I don't know why they all ended up in the same card, but they did. But in Pride, you could just walk up and kick someone in the face while they're on the ground. Like if you were on your back, the other dude could go curb stomp you into the ground, like just stomp on your head. They also had like straight up and down elbows, a bunch of stuff that's just not allowed in the UFC because they're like, you could kill somebody. So it makes sense they got rid of those. A couple of these guys are those guys who used to do that though. And we saw that in the first Nogueira Shogun fight. They did that to each other for like 3 rounds, and neither of them got knocked out somehow. Then 5 years ago, they, after 10 years, fought again in the UFC. They were old then. 5 years later, they are fighting again. And I believe what they said is like the tied for 8th for the oldest combination of like total age in the octagon. Wow. Because they're both in their, I think the combined age is like 80 something years. They're both crazy. In their 40s. I think Rodrigo Nogueira is like 45 now. And then he said it'll be his last fight. I don't think it'll be Shogun's last fight. What I've heard is he doesn't want his last fight to be in front of no fans. So he'll probably go back to Brazil and where he's from and do one final one there. That being said, he's still much younger than Nogueira, who's 45. He's also beaten Nogueira the other 2 times. So doing a trilogy fight makes no damn sense. Like, trilogy fights only happen if it's 1-1. Right. And they were both really good fights. These were both really good fights, but the same guy won both of them. So it's clearly just a retirement fight for Nogueira, right? Like, no one else wanted to fight a 45-year-old man, and Shogun's like, I'll do it again. Like, just put me in there. I'll beat him up again. We'll move on. And then the final fight, which is probably the only one on this whole card that's actually like truly relevant because the guys are both in their prime still. Robert Whittaker, former 185-pound champion until recently when he lost to Adesanya this last year, versus Darren Till, who is still only like 27, so he's also super relevant. It's 2 of my like 3 favorite fighters currently that are like actively currently fighting. So I hate picking fights like this where it's like I want them both to win. I know who will probably win, but if I like truly had to pick between my 2 favorite guys, I'm probably rooting for the other guy. So like I'll be rooting for Darren Till in my heart of hearts, but I don't think he wins. I think Robert Whittaker probably knocks him out in the first 2 or 3 rounds, which is fine. Also love the dude. But he's already had his time. He's already been champion. He's already maintained the belt a few times before he lost it. Great run. Everyone's got a run in him. Good for him. I want it to be Darren Till's time. I want him to win this. I want him to get a title fight. Him and Adesanya already like tweet back and forth, so they've already kind of built the rivalry to where people that are fans of the sport would want to see like those 2 dudes fight each other. So I'm probably falling into like the marketing of the sport, but I'm rooting for Darren Till because I want to see it, which I'm sure like their executives are sitting behind closed doors going, we hope Darren Till wins this because we're going to be able to sell the shit out of that fight And it might not be easy to sell the Robert Whittaker Adesanya fight twice after Adesanya already knocked Whittaker out. So you can tell what they're hoping happens, but I don't think that will happen. I think Robert Whittaker probably knocks Darren Till out and gets another title shot. And the circle, the revolving door at 185 begins again. This is a pretty, in my opinion, similar to the one 2 weeks ago. It's a pretty chalk card. I think there's a reason the favorites are the favorites. Like, Vegas knows what they're doing right now. There's not a lot else going on to bet on today. So they're probably pretty focused on who's supposed to win these fights. And I don't see that changing. The one, like I said, Carla Esparza, if I was in Vegas and had a chance to make a bet, it'd be on that little bitch because she's nasty. Although she comes out with she does those like really weird, a lot of the girls like braid their hair so it doesn't get in their way when they're fighting. I don't know if you've ever like seen that where they like put it up. Some of the guys with long hair do it too. They just like cornrow it. So you see these like white dudes with cornrows. Yeah. It's so funny. But she puts like those like beads in them, like the colorful green and pink and beads. I hate it. And I don't think it should be allowed. Like, can you imagine like rubbing up on someone and getting your skin caught in those beads? It makes me cringe. But anyways,
I like it.
I hate it. But
no, I like your picks. I think they sound solid. We'll have to see if you go. We'll see if you go. You see if you go undefeated this week again.
Yeah, we do that ESPN league, and I haven't gotten the. Maybe the boys got tired of me just spanking them because no one invited me this time around.
No
one invited me, or they're just not doing it. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They probably just didn't invite you.
Well, thanks for listening to the show, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. Have a great weekend. Had a good time with the boys here. Enjoy basketball. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy Fight Island.
A lot today.
Sports are back. It's nice. There's some sports back. Check stuff out. I'm excited to watch the next Blazers game. I'm basically watching whatever basketball game I can come across. It's been great.
By the way, Seattle gave up 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams. One in 2021, one in 2022, and a third-rounder in 2021.
Wow. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend, and go Warriors.
Go Warriors.